Hello, today we're going to talk about our goals for 2020. I'm Liz Zorab.
I'm Mr. J.
And this is Byther Farm. So this isn't the video that I had planned for today, but the weather this weekend has
not been particularly nice.
Been a bit inclement, hasn't it?
Putting it mildly. They did say that it was the worst storms for about 35 years.
Yeah.
And if you were suffering from it, you have our sympathies.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully you haven't lost livestock, lost buildings, or your patients or anything else. It has been a fairly rough few days. So I haven't been outside filming because we've had around 75 to 85 mile an hour winds. We've had horizontal rain. Today we have got wind, rain, snow and now sunshine.
4 seasons in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it has been. The weather is really not knowing what it's doing. So at the moment we've got blue skies, fluffy white clouds. It's all looking very lovely unless we look into the distance where there's some rather ominous clouds.
Which are about 2 fields away at the moment.
Yeah, looming again. So we haven't done goals for 2020 video earlier in the year. Often we do them pretty much either at the tail end of the year before or right at the beginning. And part of that is we've been busy doing other things. Part of that is that I've been dealing with feeling wintry, which hasn't been too bad this year, but it hasn't been great. And part of that is
we haven't actually sat down and discussed our plans for 2020
we haven't.
that
and
much.
So this is now our discussion to camera. So yeah, there may be some surprises. So
you worry me.
So we know that we will be doing more of the same but different. That's your favourite phrase, isn't it?
It is one of my catchphrases, yeah. Copyright. More of the same but different. The thing about our place, as you well know, is it doesn't stand still, it evolves. The space, the usable space and the way the usable space is used changes during the year, several times actually in some instances. So the areas around, say for example, the market garden, that's different now already to what it was when it was finished being used last year, and it will be different again by the time we're halfway through the growing season, I would have thought.
Yes, yeah. And as I think I've said, actually I say regularly, one of the joys of doing everything on a temporary basis is that we can change it as we learn more, as we try different things, or we try them and they're successful, then we can make them semi-permanent.
Or we can move them elsewhere because they don't work as well in space A as they might do in space C.
Yeah.
Bypassing space B because it's got something else in it.
So leading on from a comment about the market garden, last year I started a CSA veg box scheme, and that's a community supported agriculture scheme. If you're not familiar with what those are, I'll leave a link above and in the information below so you can learn a bit more about exactly what that is. So last year we did 7 veg boxes a week just to trial it, because I hadn't planned it at the very beginning. I hadn't planned it at this time of year, so when I actually put seeds and veg into the ground, I hadn't allocated for that many veg boxes.
Well, you're really only allocated for us and a bit spare maybe.
Yes, and also for the grow a gift contribution. So that's the contribution that we give each year to a local group towards Christmas time. So last year there were 7. This year I've opened it up to the local community and said, is anybody else interested? So I think we're up to 16 people who've said yes now. And I had thought in my head that maybe we'd do up to 20, but I'm quite happy with 16.
Particularly since some of them are larger.
Some of them are larger
the boxes you've been doing last year. So.
And I think that's enough. And I think not to put a pressure on myself to have to be growing even more is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think to know that space can comfortably grow that much food and still put food in our freezers for the year. So I think that's just about there.
Yeah.
So that's a nice one. So goal for this year is to grow enough food for us to see us through the year, for our grower gift contribution, and to have our veg box scheme running for about 22 weeks during the year. That sounds like a really good...
That's a good, and that's an achievable goal as well.
I think it is, yes. And that thing about setting goals that are pie in the sky and beyond reach doesn't work for me. I don't like to be stretching to something that's stressing me. I'd rather set a goal and overachieve than underachieve.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that's one that's out there. What are we going to do with birds this year, poultry?
I think poultry-wise, we have talked about this quite a bit. I think we've got to refresh the duck stock. Yeah. Because our Aylesburys are now aged.
They are aged Aylesburys, and those girls are just in retirement, basically.
So, if we want to carry on having duck eggs, we are going to have to refresh those. The Khaki Campbells are now coming into lay, but of course, their eggs are half the size because they are half the size of the Aylesburys. Yeah. And there's only 3 girls there. I wouldn't mind some more. No.
They're funny little birds because they're not nearly as friendly as the Aylesburys.
But being around the Aylesburys, they're getting to be friendlier.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be a time thing.
So I think we will grow through some more Aylesburys. Chicken wise, I don't know. We've run the flock right down with the chickens, which has freed up a lot of space for the market garden, for example. Yeah. So this area that the chickens have been working for 2 or 3 years is now good productive growing space.
It's great.
And that again is all part of the evolution of the plot. So they're now in a different space around the back of the piggeries, which they love.
Yeah.
And they are a smaller flock already, and
smaller.
I think we will. And we've talked about maxing out at about 18 birds, haven't we?
Yeah, we're down to 17.
Whether we're going to grow some new ones through,
I think we might have to, because a lot of those girls are now 3 years old.
Yeah, they're laying 1 egg a week.
Yeah, one or 2 eggs a week. And in some ways, I'm quite happy for a lot of those to just live out their retirement as well. But I do think we could do with maybe half a dozen that are
actively laying
every day, so we can guarantee the eggs. We're not putting eggs into the veg boxes on a regular basis. There are a couple of members of the scheme who like to have eggs.
And we have a couple of other people that regularly like to have eggs, like your sister.
Yeah. And you've got some work colleagues.
I've got some work colleagues, and I like an egg in the morning.
But we don't need the 120 birds that we had at one point. That was a mistake, wasn't it?
I don't know.
No, it was a good experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it was a mistake. I think this is part of the thing about forward planning is a lot of our plans now can be based on knowledge of what has and hasn't worked.
Yeah.
As opposed to should we try it? I mean, there's still going to be some, should we try it? Why not? Because
when we tried guinea fowl.
Yeah, we're not trying that again.
And I don't think we're going to do turkeys this year, are we?
Probably not.
I've taken down the turkey one.
That's why we've got the space that had been used for turkeys is now being used or planned for something else. And I don't know that we've got the
capacity
at this. Well, yeah, we may maybe have the capacity. We possibly don't have the time capacity to create a completely safe turkey area this year. With other things that are already,
with the other plans that
already happening.
Yeah.
So maybe the turkeys will have a year off this year.
Yeah. And another thing that we have talked a little bit about is that Mr. J is going to spend a bit more time working on the channel with me.
Yeah. Not necessarily in front of the camera, you'll be relieved to hear, or I'll be relieved to hear. But on some of the behind the scenes stuff, which I can take on when I'm doing other things as well.
Yeah.
And when Liz is doing other things as well. So some of the admin-y.
Yes. So you may find that some of the comments on the videos are answered by by Mr. J. He'll make it obvious when it's him answering and not me.
Yeah, I'll spell things incorrectly deliberately.
Yeah, so you'll just write,
Yeah.
you'll write your name afterwards, won't you? So, you'll know that it's Mr. J. So he's going to do a little bit more of that.
I will be shying away from the things I have no idea about, by the way. So don't expect deep, meaningful answers about how best to plant cabbages.
The light's gone appalling again. We might have gone a very odd shade of grey.
Yes, but
it's coming back out again.
As we said earlier in this video, 4 seasons in 1 minute.
Day, yeah. So the other thing that you're going to be spending a bit more time doing is working on some designs for our merchandise. So we're just modelling. You've got coffee showing on that bit. That was grim. I'm going to keep that in, So he's going to be working on some more designs for our merchandise. So things like the mugs and the t-shirts.
I didn't know I was going to be doing that, but
yes, because that saves me a huge amount of brain power, and you're good with brain power stuff.
well, okay.
So Mr. Joe's quite creative.
Yes, I do have my creative edge,
and I'm not.
Well, I think you're more creative than you give yourself credit for.
Oh, thank you, but I still don't think I'm terribly creative. Anyway, so they'll be doing some more of that. If you haven't seen our mugs before, I'll just look.
This is the official design. Mine was a prototype.
Yeah. So the actual design on it is supposed to be a picture of the house and our very tall trees and the barn, and then the pictures of the birds on here. The animals are actually our animals,
including the cat.
And I've taken photographs and just made them into silhouettes and put them into the design. So
that's where the logo came from, if you were wondering. And yeah, there are things that I think we should be doing with merchandise. Maybe you've got ideas. Maybe there are things you'd like us to create. Always let us know.
So the other thing this year is more courses. So I want to hold 6 more courses here this year. So we've got one coming up at the next weekend, and then I want to do 6 more throughout the year on various different things.
It is a question, obviously, with so many things, of spacing things out, so that there's time to do them properly and time to do everything else as well. And
time to recover, because all of these things, every additional thing, gives me a little bit more recovery time required. So that's that bit. And then I'm doing some courses this year. I'm still learning. I have a constant flow of courses that I'm doing. So this year, finishing off my PDC, which is a permaculture design certificate. So I've actually done the studying twice over, but the first time I did it for the information as opposed to actually getting the certificate. So it wasn't something that was certificated. Is that all right?
That'll do.
It wasn't certificated. So now I'm redoing it. So I've got the certificate. So there's exciting things coming at the end of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm also doing some other studying about things like filmmaking. Do you remember what else I said I was going to do?
No. You rattled off a huge, great list of them, and I was thinking that the Mongolian nose flute studies didn't sound very appealing.
He's jesting. I am. So I'm doing some more things like filmmaking, film production, and editing skills and things like that, which I find I'm really interested in those things. Having gone beyond the basic
shoot and hope.
Yeah, moving forward with my editing skills a bit more. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning how to use my computer. Wrong thing. Camera better, and Hugh has
software better.
And my software. And Hugh said that he was going to come down and spend a bit of time with me, teaching me more how to use my camera, which is great. Because it's a superb camera that Mr. J bought me 2 or 3 years ago. And I just haven't learned very much how to use it, other than to turn it on, make sure something's in focus and start talking.
That's the thing with toys, isn't it?
Yeah.
We often have things that have got much greater capability than we have the knowledge how to use them.
Yeah.
And I think, we're both like, in some ways, we're both like that with our computers, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to the point of using what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
And then, maybe you stretch out and try something a bit extra.
But I think, given that I've got the camera and it's got all these different capabilities, then I really ought to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, one other goal for the year is the ongoing maintenance and repurposing and tinkering with things as we go.
Yeah.
Much of which we have no idea what it's going to be until it needs to be done. But we mentioned, for example, the reduction in poultry flock.
Yeah.
And as part of that, they're moving away from some of the space that they've been using. Some of it's already been repurposed.
Yeah.
Some of it we need to do some work on in order to be able to repurpose it, because it's got 4 or 5 years worth of chicken poop in it.
Which is going to be great.
Absolutely.
It to a growing space.
Absolutely.
It's going to be lovely.
But there is that space then that we can then work out how to reuse it best.
Yes. I'd quite like to move the chickens out of their stable, the condo, which is it's like a double stable space, isn't it? And just have them in. I'm waving like this and have them in the field at the back, which means that if we completely clean up all that stable space, once it's all cleaned and done, that would be great as a packing space for the veg boxes and storage space for dried goods.
Yeah. And there was also the space that had the turkeys in the turkey palace, which had been the chicken palace. And again, that was somewhere you were thinking of using for packing and so forth.
Yeah.
But when we first moved here, that was going to be your garden room. I was expecting to find her sleeping out there half the time. Now I find her sleeping in the polytunnel.
I'd forgotten I wanted that. And we could still make that into a garden room. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? It's such a nice space. Unfortunately, the open side it's an open fronted barn, storage out. It's just a covered area.
Yeah.
It's an outbuilding, but the open side faces due west, which is where all the wind comes from. So the wind and the rain just goes straight through it.
Which is why we put frontage on it.
But it's still it's an open front. It's chicken wire mostly, isn't it? More to contain the birds, but we need to allow the air to flow through it, because I think otherwise it would rip it out to the ground, particularly with the wind that we've had
in the last few days. Yeah,
in the last few days. So yeah, there's lots of maintenance stuff. There's things like the fence posts all around the outside of the
odd ones of those need replacing.
Yeah,
and,
just because they've been there for 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah. So some of those need mending. So there is that kind of ongoing maintenance. And the other thing that we are going to do very soon, because it is very nearly Valentine's Day,
we're going to clean out the reed bed.
So our sewage, our wastewater and sewage goes into a septic tank, and then all the liquid matter from that goes into a reed bed system where it filters through, which cleans the water, and then it runs off. And
every year we have to declutter the reed bed, because obviously the reeds grow and it becomes very clogged, and that doesn't really do any favours. So it isn't genuinely a Valentine treat. It just happened to be the first year we were here, we did it on Valentine's Day, and the second year we were cleaning it out and we realised it was Valentine's Day, so it became a bit of a running joke. And it's nearly Valentine's Day, so
and it needs doing.
And
you're on holiday from work.
Yeah, so as long as it's not chucking it down with snow at the time, we may well be out there on Valentine's Day clearing the reeds and some of the gunk. And it's the gunk that's the problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Face masks.
Yeah. And we're not talking about effluent stuff.
It's just mud.
It's mud, and it's rotted down, it's rotted down leaves and things like that. So, but we'll take the camera out when we do that.
The chickens always enjoy that.
The chickens enjoy it, and show you the process. Not necessarily so much of us just clearing the reed beds, but how our water system, our water filter system works there.
And the other goals for 2020, lots and lots and lots of videos, and Liz has lists. You'll find out more about those as the year progresses.
I do have lists. I've got lots and lots of ideas of things I want to share and show you what we're doing. Exciting stuff. I'm really excited about the year ahead for videos. Oh, I didn't sound very excited then. Shall I sound that again? I'm really excited about the year ahead.
So, 2020, what's it got in store? More of the same but different. We have the plans for changing and repurposing space. We have some plans for our poultry and for the growth of the veg boxes and for new courses and for filmic episodes and adventures.
Yep. For maintenance.
And for an awful lot of stuff that we have no idea that it's going to happen. Because that's how life works. Like, for example, a tree over there that I've just noticed that seems to be leaning at a precarious angle and wasn't probably an hour ago.
Yeah, I think the wind may have caught one of the trees, so we probably need to go out and check that out.
See what we need to do.
Yeah. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join us again next time.